The International Criminal Court has launched an investigation against Russia's actions in Ukraine. Dozens of ICC members petitioned the court to immediately start proceedings as reports of civilian areas being targeted increased. And I want to bring in Wayne Jordash now, an expert in international humanitarian law and managing partner of Global Rights Compliance law firm. Welcome to the programme. It's good to have you with us. Now that the ICC has opened this investigation, and as an expert in the field yourself, what are the first things on the ground that we've seen so far that you expect them to perhaps to start collecting evidence on?
Well, I think there is a vast array of war crimes being committed. There's no doubt in my mind. We have everything from the attacking of civilians directly, including Russian soldiers shooting peaceful protesters, including Russian soldiers shelling buses, attacking of civilian objects generally, from art galleries to health institutions to educational establishments. We have attacking using indiscriminate bombs, cluster bombs, and so on and so forth. So the ICC prosecutor has a lot to choose from. What he has to do, though, is decide what is a priority, and that's a difficult question. But what I would expect him to do is to liaise with a range of actors, from the Prosecutor General in Ukraine to civil society actors, to open source experts, to military analysts, to international criminal lawyers like myself, and focus in on certain incidents which are the most damaging, which are the most dangerous, and which must be prioritized.
You've just given me a long list of examples there, and I do wonder, we know that many countries wait a very long time to see leaders have their day or days or months in court at the ICC, and we also know that Russia isn't a member, so extradition would be necessary. So with all that in mind, do you think this is a deterrent to Putin?
My fear is, of course, that Putin will not be deterred by anything other than his own people rising up and demanding that he stops. However, the international community should do what it can do to deter, and the ICC prosecution and prosecution also at the national level should be forwarded and progressed, investigated, and when the suspects, when Putin or when his many enablers can be caught, they can be put on trial. The important thing is to preserve the evidence now. Will it deter him in the short term? I don't know. Will it act as accountability for people who are really suffering in Ukraine? Then I think in the long term it will.
You mentioned his enablers. I just want to pick up on that, because when we actually talk about war crimes and accountability, it's not necessarily just talking about President Putin and his regime, is it? It is people who have responsibility for carrying out war crimes on the ground. And in this case, it could mean members of the military currently in Ukraine, as I understand it.
Well, absolutely. There's no doubt from what Putin has said and from the control he clearly exhibits over the military and also the finances and the supply of weapons and the policy that is perpetrating these war crimes, that he controls and is ultimately the one most responsible. But there are many others, from military personnel to the financiers, the oligarchs, to those on the ground, individual soldiers who can be and should be prosecuted. It's not only Putin who's committed these serious crimes. It's a range of people, and these are very serious crimes.